Hi everyone, it's Lindy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. If you're brand new to my YouTube channel, this video series is posted every other Friday and it is completely dedicated to answering all of your questions and filling these videos with as much information as possible. So now before I get into the series of questions from the last episode, I did want to fill you guys in on a little bit of an update because this is my opportunity to be able to let you guys know what exactly is going on with me and my channel at the moment. If you're a frequent viewer of my channel, you probably noticed that I did not do my Motivation Monday live stream. If you didn't know, every single Monday at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, I do go live on my YouTube channel and we all connect and have an open discussion. However, this last Monday, I was not able to go live because the Rona invaded my house. So my youngest son, Benjamin, was exposed to COVID. And because he was exposed to COVID, now we are in quarantine. We were able to break quarantine in the event that we could get a negative result on a COVID test. However, the only test that we had the ability for him to take is the saliva test. And if you didn't know, Benjamin is autistic and he just wasn't willing to spit that much for the sake of a Rona test. Because of that, the test was inconclusive, which means that we are just forced to quarantine, not really knowing if he has COVID or not. And if we are forced to quarantine, that means no school. And with no school, that means that my schedule is really crazy. And frankly, I was worried I wasn't even going to be able to get up this video this week. Filming a video right now is not exactly easy. So I asked for the next couple of weeks that you guys be really patient with me. I know that my inbox is filling up. I know that a lot of people are waiting for email responses. And I know that my uploads might be a little bit sporadic over the next couple of weeks. But please have patience with me because my personal life is kind of a nightmare, if I'm being honest. All of that being said, let me tell you about the best part of this video series. So aside from being able to give you guys a condensed version and a whole bunch of information in a single video, my other favorite part of this video series is my partnership with Wholesale Ninjas. Because you see, Wholesale Ninjas is a liquidation company that gives away a 100 count liquidation lot to one of my viewers every single episode. So let me tell you what you need to do in order to win a free liquidation lot from Wholesale Ninjas. All you have to do is ask me a question. Go down in the comment section and put 5 question marks indicating entry and follow that with a question to be featured on this video series. You can ask me a question about anything you want. It could be reseller related, it can be YouTube related, affiliate marketing, making money, dealing with your kids. Whatever question you want to know about, just ask it down in the comments and you have a chance to be entered to win a free liquidation lot. And if you don't know who Wholesale Ninjas is, let me take just a minute to tell you who they are and what they're all about. Most of my YouTube channels are about making money selling merchandise on eBay, and Wholesale Ninjas is one of my sources for getting that merchandise to resell for profit. There's lots of different ways to find merchandise for resale, but a couple of years ago, I embarked on this journey to try to find the most reputable companies to source with, and I stumbled upon the Wholesale Ninjas website doing a basic Google search. I ordered a few test lots, and I was so pleased with the kind of merchandise that I received from them that I reached out, asked them for a coupon code, and I've been partnering with them ever since. I've sourced with a lot of liquidation companies over the past couple of years, and Wholesale Ninjas is by far the best with their quality control and consistency of supply. Everything always arrives impeccably packaged. There's not a ton of stickers to remove, which means I can get items listed faster. And there's always a really good variety of items as well as multiple quantities, which means I'm able to scale up my eBay store even faster. They also specialize in merchandise in the health and beauty space, and if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that that is my favorite category to sell in. And they also give you the opportunity to buy pallets of case pack merchandise from Target. So needless to say, they are my favorite source of merchandise for my eBay store. As I mentioned, I do have an active coupon code. The code is Lindey25 and it gets you $25 off of anything on their site. But remember, you do have a chance to win a free 100 count lot from Wholesale Ninjas just by asking me a question. So go down and do that in the comment section to be featured on the next video and potentially win a free lot. Thank you again to Wholesale Ninjas for partnering with me and sponsoring this video series. Now let's get started with the questions. Misty Skurlock asks, What is a good lot amount to sell? For instance, a 3-pack of 1 item or a pack of 10. So now I will answer this question briefly, but I will say that I get tons of questions about how to know whether or not to do singles or lots of 3 or lots of 5 or lots of 10. And so I am planning to do an entire video talking about how I decide to make lots, how to do them successfully. Should they be all the same items? Should they be mixed lots? I am planning to do a video breaking down everything, and I'm hoping that that video is out in the next week or 2. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, ring the notification bell so that you're notified whenever I post new videos, and there will be a very information loaded lot video coming up very, very soon. But the quick answer is, what would you buy? If you have a bunch of one kind of item, ask yourself, would I buy 10 of these? Could someone realistically use 10 of those? And if they couldn't, don't sell it that way because it doesn't make any sense. Try to think like a buyer. That's what I do. I also make lots based on shipping. So if you have 10 of something, but you're going to have to ship it priority by weight, which is the more expensive shipping option, it might be better to do a lot of 3 if you can keep it under £1 and ship it first class, which is the cheapest shipping method. So that's another way I determine what kind of lot size I sell. I try to think like a buyer, and then I also base them off of shipping. How many can I ship first class? How many can I fit in a flat rate envelope? And then I use that information to determine how many lots I do. But be on the lookout for that video because I am going to be including a lot of information about selling lots online. Marilyn Hudson asks, would you consider doing an eBay sold video? Well, Marilyn, you are in luck. I have an entire playlist full of eBay sold videos. I've been doing eBay sold videos for years. For the first couple of years of my YouTube channel, I did sold videos as often as every single week, breaking down sales daily. But over the last year or so, I've just been condensing all of that information into monthly sold videos. And just this last Wednesday, I actually mixed a shipping video with a sold video. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. I'll make sure to link that video in case you missed it this week. But so far, it's been a pretty positive response for that video. So I might end up doing more of those. But I love doing sold videos because I feel like sold videos are really important when you are starting to learn reselling, because it's not just about what you think an item can sell for. It's what it actually does sell for and the real life profits that you get from selling those items online. So I will make sure to link my eBay sold video playlist down in the video description, and I'll also pin it to the top pinned comment in the comment section. Charlie Cavolo asks, what do you do if you wake up sick or are otherwise unexpectedly incapable of shipping out your daily orders? I know lots of resellers have 1 or 2 day handling times, which can easily be missed. So emergencies do come up, right? But sometimes you have to force yourself to ship even if you don't feel well. There's been many times where I forced myself to do shipping and it was literally the only thing that I did for the rest of the day because either my head was pounding, I had a sick child, or I was crazy sick myself, but you still have to get your packages out if you have same day or 1 day handling. If you start noticing that there's an increased number of times you're having to force yourself to do shipping or you're having to put shipping off, it might be best just to change your handling time to 2 or 3 days. But in the event that that random emergency situation arises where you cannot get shipping out, just contact your buyers and let them know that it's going to be an extra day or 2 handling time due to an emergency. All that's really going to happen is your seller status might take a little bit of a hit. There is a certain percentage that you have to maintain in order to keep your selling status above standard or top rated. And it's basically just 95% of the time you are printing your labels and you're uploading the tracking and it's validated within the certain time frame as indicated in your listing. But if it falls below that percentage, you might temporarily fall below standard or lose your top rated status. That could potentially hurt you in the long run, but depending on how many items you sell, it might take a lot of packages to actually force you to fall below 95%. So if this only happens every once in a while during extreme emergency situations, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. But if you anticipate this happening a lot, you might as well extend your handling time to 2 or 3 days to avoid losing a seller status at all. Kay Spears asks, how much time do you spend on items that you know you are going to get scammed on? This is a good question. I recently had a customer say that only one item arrived in a 3-item lot and didn't have any photos because they had already thrown away the packaging. I knew I had packed 3 because I had to search for a large box. Anyway, it seemed like my only option for fear of negative feedback was to offer a partial refund. In situations like this, do you feel the same or have any advice for how to handle the random scammer situation and keep your sanity? So I actually did an entire video talking about stop giving away your money. Do not offer partial refunds if you suspect someone is trying to scam you. I'll link that video. It's kind of like a ranty style video, and it's not just all ranting. It's actually giving you encouragement to know that you are a business and you need to not be giving your money away. But to answer your question, I actually had this exact same situation happen to me not too long ago. Identical situation. So let me tell you what I did. I've had a ton of these facial scrubs listed in my eBay store for months. I had a huge shipment of them, and I'm only selling them in lots of 4 because I have so many. Again, going back to making the lots, I selected 4 because I'm able to fit them all into a box and ship them in a flat rate envelope. I also chose to do lots of 4 because I had almost 100 of them and I wanted to try to move that inventory out as fast as possible. So I only sell them in lots of 4. And the customer messaged me and said that she only received 1 tube and she placed an order of 4 of the facial scrubs. I immediately called bullshit because I know that I would not have just sent her 1 because I don't just sell them in singles. And that's exactly what I told her. I responded to her that I don't know how she could have possibly only received 1 tube because I only sell them in lots of 4. I told her if she were to go look at my eBay store, she would not see 1 listing of 1 single tube of that facial scrub because I do not sell them that way. And I stood my ground. I did not offer to send her a partial refund. I called her on her bullshit. It's not being rude to a customer if you know that they are trying to scam you out of sending money back to them. Know your worth, know your business's worth, and do not give your money away to people trying to scam you. If you suspect that you might have made a mistake, that's one thing. But if you know for a fact you sent 3 and they're trying to get money out of you claiming that they only received 1 in their shipment, call them on it. So asking them to send you a picture really doesn't get you anywhere because all they would have to do is send you a photo of 1 single item. And if you had a lot of 3, then all they have to do is just hide the other 2 and just take a picture of the single. So pictures don't really get you anywhere. You can even choose to send them a screenshot of the order that they placed, and you can even ask them to prove that you even sell that item in a single. But I didn't even go that far with this person. I just told them I do not sell that item in singles. I only sell them in lots of 4. I know that I would not have just sent them 1 because I do not sell that item that way. And I told them that if they wanted any kind of refund, that they would have to send everything that they received back to me. And until I received everything back, they were not going to get any sort of a refund. I even told them I don't do partial refunds. I said, if you want a refund at all, I need to receive something back. And guess what? They never opened a return. They never sent anything back. So they didn't get $1 from me. If you suspect that they are trying to get one over, call them on it. Tell them if they want to get anything back that they need to open a return and they need to send an item back. Do not offer a partial refund. Tell them it's all or nothing. If they want their money back, they need to send something back to you. We are in this business to make money, not give away merchandise and not give away partial refunds to people who want to complain about nothing. Again, if you suspect that you made a mistake, then do right by your buyer. Send them a partial refund. But if you know well that you sent them exactly what they ordered, stand your ground and do not give them a partial refund. Now, I understand that you can be worried about a negative feedback. Trust me, I worry about negative feedbacks all of the time. One of the things that I do to combat that worry about having a negative feedback is I offer free returns. Now, I have done a video talking all about free returns and if it could be for you or not for you. I did not see my return rate go up at all when I enacted free returns, and I really don't have people use it that often. But what having free returns does for you as the seller is if a buyer has a complaint, if they end up leaving you a negative feedback, you can contact eBay and say, can I have this removed? I offer free returns. They didn't want to return it, so therefore, if there's any dissatisfaction as indicated in this negative feedback that they left me, they should have returned the item. And almost every single time I have ever gotten a negative feedback while I've had free returns switched on, eBay always removes the negative feedback, because when you offer free returns, there's no reason for the buyer to be dissatisfied in any way, because they can return the item and get their money back at no cost to them. So send a message to this person, say that you understand that there might be some confusion, but reiterate that you know that you sent them all three. If they decide to leave you a negative feedback, contact eBay, let them go through all of the messages. But seriously, stand your ground. Don't just send money back to people. Sylvia Pina asks, how can I ship items with my own boxes on Facebook? If I'm selling a toy and it weighs, for example, 4 pounds, and the option Facebook gives me is $8 shipping, can I print the label and just use my own box, or do I need to use a post office box? So this is actually a question that I've been seeing more and more frequently, and I think it's because there's a lot of new sellers trying different platforms like Mercari or Poshmark or Facebook Marketplace where they can utilize the new shipping function. And I think there's a lot of confusion as to if you use a shipping label generated by one of these platforms, does it need to be on a specific box? The answer to that is no. You can put a shipping label on any package that you want. There's also a lot of confusion when it comes to priority mail labels. A lot of people think that if you print a United States Postal Service priority label, that it has to go on a United States Postal Service priority box that you get from the post office. But no, you can put a priority label on any package at all. It does not need to be on a specific box. So if you're selling something from Poshmark or Mercari or Facebook Marketplace, and you're having them generate the shipping label for you, you could put it on any package you want. It doesn't have to be anything specific. The only time you do need to make sure that you put a specific label on a specific kind of box is if it's a flat rate of some kind. So if you are printing a shipping label for a flat rate medium box, then that label needs to go on a flat rate medium box that you get from the post office. Or if you're printing a padded flat rate envelope label, it needs to actually go on a padded flat rate envelope that you get from the post office. But if you're just having your labels generated from those platforms, it is just priority, or it's just first class, or it's just standard United States Postal Service. It's not a particular kind of envelope. So yes, that is my long-winded answer. You can put those labels on any packaging that you want. It does not have to be one that comes from the post office. Colleen A asks, hi Lindey. Hello, Colleen. At what point did you know that selling was what you wanted to do as a full-time income? So I bounced around it a lot, right? I was a hobbyist for almost a decade before I decided to turn it into just a home business and decided that was going to be the only thing that I did. And I decided that it was going to be the only thing that I did because I found myself constantly coming back to it and always enjoying it. I also knew that I was a terrible employee. I've mentioned this before in one of these Frequently Asked Friday episodes. I'm a terrible employee. I do not like working for other people. I never have. Every job I've ever had, I enjoyed temporarily. I always excelled and got into management positions. And then I found myself counting the days to the weekend. And then I found myself counting the days to maybe quitting and doing a different job because I don't like working for other people. I am a bad employee, and I'm willing to admit it. Some people, I think, that have an entrepreneurial spirit, they automatically want to work for themselves. They don't like working for other people because they think that they could do it better. They have goals and aspirations and ambition that can't be fulfilled when you're working a typical job. And so I think that was the driving force that made me decide to only do it for me versus doing it on the side and constantly working other jobs. Because I'm a bad employee. I don't like working for other people. But I do think that everybody can do reselling, but not everybody will do reselling because it's not for everyone. For some people, it might be a good side hustle. You like working your 9 to 5, you like selling things on the weekend, and that's fine. You don't have to do reselling as a full-time job. I think that if you want to do reselling as a full-time job, you'll just know when you know, because you'll keep coming back to it. You'll find yourself not wanting to work for other people. You'll always be wanting to get out of a job that you have. And so being a full-time reseller was my opportunity to get out of that 9 to 5 grind that I just wasn't fulfilled in. Carol Parker asks, "Hi Lindey." Hi Carol. "I love your videos, don't miss a one." Thank you so much, Carol. "My question is about item specifics and listings. I try to be as detailed as I can when listing items on eBay, but sometimes I see the ad recommended notifications for some of my items, and they are usually accompanied by a note saying required soon. Are all of these specifics required? Should I create a template for my listings? Any tips or tricks on how to list more efficiently? Thanks for all you do." Thank you, Carol. So anything that says required soon means that in the next month, eBay is going to make you have that be a required item specific. And so they're telling you required soon to try to get you ahead so that you don't have to go edit a whole bunch of listings later. What, Ben? What do you?
Mommy's go upstairs.
Mommy, go upstairs where?
Yeah.
Do you need help? Where was I? Oh yeah, item specifics. So no, not every single item specific is required, but there are a very select few that eBay tells you that you have to include. So I would just focus on those really, because I'm not super convinced that every single item specific needs to be filled in. There's even some categories where it would be almost impossible for you to know the answers to these item specifics. But do I think that it's important to have every single item specific filled in? No, I'm not convinced that it really makes that big of a difference. However, if it does say required soon, or if eBay tells you that it's required, then yes, definitely fill those in. But also make sure that you are selecting from the drop down. If you are typing things in, then that could actually be a hindrance, because if someone is searching item specifics and checking boxes on the main search page, if you are actually typing things in, whenever they select items on the search page, your item will not show up. So make sure that you are selecting items from the drop-down menu and not just writing things in, because that kind of defeats the purpose of filling in the item specific at all. Amy Weller asks, "Hello, Lindey." Hi, Amy. "I was wondering how I should list multiple quantities of the same cold medicine with different expiration dates. Thank you." Really good question, because there's a couple of different ways that you can handle this, and really there's no wrong way. So I'll give you the two good options, I think. So how I personally choose to handle this is I just select the expiration date that is the closest date and put that in the listing. So if I have some that expire in March, if I have some that expire in June, and some that expire at the end of the year, then I'm going to put the March expiration date in the listing. That also helps me when I'm pulling the item to do shipping, because I can look at that expiration date and know that I need to pull the March expiration dates first, because that's what's in the listing. So then what I will do once a month is I will do a search in my eBay store of the current month that I am in. And then at that time, I will go to my actual inventory and I will make note of whether or not all of the remaining items that are still in stock expire at the end of the month, or if there are some that are further out. And so then using that same example of if I had some that expired in March, some that expired in June, and some that expired at the end of the year, what I would do then is I would make note, okay, I still have some that are left for June and I have some that are left for the end of the year. So then I would edit the listing and I would change the expiration date from March to June, and I would pull all of the items that expired that month out and edit the quantity. Is that confusing? Maybe I should do an entire video just about that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video about how I handle expiration dates and listing and pulling and expiring and all of that stuff, because I felt like that was really confusing. Or the easier thing that you can do is you can create separate listings for every one that has a different expiration date. This was actually something that I did when I got a lot of Nicorette gum and Nicorette lozenges in. I had a group that expired 1 month, a group that expired 2 months later, and then a group that expired in the next year. And I just did different listings for each of those month lots because the ones that were a little bit closer, I did a cheaper price, and then this one I did one price, and then this one I did one price, because if I wanted to move these expensive items before they expired, I wanted to give someone a price incentive to buy versus the ones that are a little bit further out. Does that make sense? But when you choose to do it that way, you're going to use up more of your listings. So the reason why I do it the way I do it now is because I only have so many listings. I don't want to create extra listings just because things have different expiration dates. But if you have the listings to spare, you might consider doing it that way, just so that you don't mix up expiration dates and send out ones that are further out when ones have already expired. But I might go ahead and do a video talking about this in detail because I feel like the answer that I gave you was extremely confusing and I don't even know if it made sense. Hopefully it did. Hopefully you got something out of that answer. And if you didn't, I'm sorry. Jim Grammer asks, "Hi Lindey." Hi Jim. Love the videos and your energy. Thank you. How long do you keep a listing before saying that this ain't gonna sell? So I saw this question asked a couple of times and I skipped them because I think I have answered this question in an episode not too long ago, but then I started seeing this same question popping up again and again. And sometimes there's questions that I get where a lot of people ask the same question. And so I'm like, okay, I should probably talk about this again. And this was one of them. How long do I wait before saying, this ain't gonna sell? Honestly, that depends on you, your patience, your storage, and expiration dates. So if something doesn't have an expiration date, I will almost never just pull the listing thinking that it's not gonna sell. Because in my experience, things always sell eventually. The only time I might decide to pull something without waiting for it to sell is if I don't have the space for it or my patience has run out. There's an item that I am just sick and tired of looking at. I might pull it and try to flip it on Facebook Marketplace or put it on a different platform. Or if something is going to expire, I might drop the price to try to move it out. But for the most part, I will just let things sit as long as they need to sit in order to sell. That's why I say it depends on your space. If you don't need to worry about making room for new merchandise, you might as well just wait. But if storage starts to become an issue, that's when you might pull things and sell them through another avenue versus waiting around for it to sell on the platform you've been trying to sell it on. Or if cash flow is an issue, because if you have all of your money tied up and you're waiting on stuff to sell that's just not selling, you might want to pull them and try to get rid of them another way to try to get some cash flow and invest it in new merchandise. Because if you have capital tied up in merchandise that's not selling, you could potentially be missing out on profits of a better buy. So if you're running out of storage space, if your capital is tied up, those might be a couple of reasons why I would pull a listing, sell it someplace else, try to get some money back and move on with my life. But if not for those two things, I think that I'm just waiting for the buyer to come around, and so I have all of my listings good till canceled. I'll just wait for it to sell. Linda Jones asks, have you ever heard of Bonanza for reselling? I have heard of Bonanza, but I have never tried it. I have heard that Bonanza is just as simple as clicking a button and then your item is available for sale because everything is imported, but I have never personally tried it. And I think the reason why I haven't tried it is because the feedback that I usually get about Bonanza is you might sell 1 or 2 items over there. So selling an additional 1 or 2 items really isn't enough to get my juices flowing enough to actually get me to click that button. So I haven't yet clicked that button, but if you have sold on Bonanza before, let me know down in the comments, what's your feedback on it? Do you like it? Is it a waste of time? Is it totally worth the energy clicking the button? Let me know down in the comments. Robin Rasmussen asks, I thought it was forbidden to sell over-the-counter meds on eBay. Do you require specific permission? No, that's actually one of the beautiful things about selling items on eBay is that as far as I know, Sellers are not restricted on any category in particular. There might be some categories where there could be a little bit tighter of a restriction, like maybe adults only, but I haven't noticed it in the over-the-counter or supplements categories. Sometimes in those categories you could run into roadblocks, like maybe they don't want you listing in a certain category because of the pandemic, maybe they're concerned about price gouging, but for the most part you can sell medications and supplements on eBay as long as they don't require a prescription. Now, if you have a newer eBay account, they might have changed this, so you might have to get some selling under your belt if you have a brand new account, but as far as I know, there's no permissions required. God's Child asks, do you get charged as one kind of fee on eBay when you revise your listing? So if you are just revising an active listing, there should be 0 fees that you are charged. However, it is possible to make a mistake that will get you charged a fee whenever you go in to revise your listing. For instance, if you are revising your listing and you accidentally click on adding a bold font for your title, or if you decide to add a subheader, those are additional charges in your eBay listing. But if you are just revising a standard listing, there's no fee charged. Brittany H asks, Lindey, your super sage advice has meant a lot to me getting my business up and running. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brittany. I'm wondering, if you have a rare item with no other competing listings, do you have a rule of thumb for pricing? Do you increase slightly or do you stick with what people have paid in the past? Assuming the sell-through rate isn't total crap, that is. That's really tough because if you price it too low, you could potentially be leaving a lot of money on the table, but if you price too high, you could be pricing yourself out of a market and then nobody wants to buy it because you're so outrageously priced. They want to know who you think you are. So if you have sold comps that you can refer to, I would price a little higher than those sold comps if there's no active listings that are comparable to yours. For instance, if you have a doodad that has some sold history of $50, but there is none currently listed, I might list it at $65 or $75 and take best offers. But if there's no active listings and no sold comps, I say go based off of what kind of profits you hope to get. For instance, if this same doodad has 0 current active and 0 sold history and you spent $5 on it, if you're comfortable getting a $30 return, then price it at $50. When in doubt, price high and accept best offers. Best offer is kind of like the reverse auction strategy. You're kind of letting your market determine the price. Because remember, you can always start high and work your way down, versus if you start low, if someone buys it, you don't have a chance to raise it again unless you decide to cancel the order and relist it, which is just not a nice thing to do. Stephanie Marie actually had a really good question that I see in the comment section a lot in my videos. Stephanie says, amazing. You're amazing, Stephanie. But positive question. I like positivity. I'd like to know who is buying the things online for a higher price instead of going to the grocery store for it, and how you're making money from all of this kind of stuff. How do you do it? It's amazing. Thank you. This is a question that I have been getting on my YouTube videos for years. Ever since I started talking about selling things like s'more goldfish and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on my videos, I've had people asking in the comment section, who is buying this stuff? Who is gonna go to eBay and pay more than if they walked into Walmart and bought it off of the shelf? And the answer to this is really very simple. Not everybody has access to things like you do. Just because you can walk into Walmart and buy something for $4 doesn't mean that everybody can. Some people might be out in the middle of nowhere and they don't have access to just walking into a Walmart and buying that. Some people might live in a different region and they might not have access to that kind of merchandise like you do. For instance, this lotion, you might have this lotion at your Walmart. You might have this. This is why I can't film at home. This right here, do you hear? I mean, it's children's laughter, which is adorable, but extremely distracting when you're trying to film. Hopefully you can still hear me. You might have this flamingo hand lotion at your local store, but this might only be available in your region, and someone that lives across the country might love this lotion and they can't get it anywhere, so they're forced to pay a premium for it on eBay to buy it from someone that can have access to it. Or maybe all of their stores are always out of stock and they're looking for a particular item that they can never seem to get at their Walmart. There could be multiple reasons why someone would be willing to pay more for it online versus walking into a store and buying it. That's the beauty of reselling. You find something that people want and charge a price that they're willing to pay. Just because you can buy something for $4 doesn't mean that everybody can buy something for $4. Something is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. On eBay, someone might be willing to pay $20 for this, even though you know you can buy it at the store for $4. That's a really great question. It's one that I get all the time. All right, it's that time. It's time to find out who the next winner is of a 100 count lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Drum roll, please. The winner, chosen by random comment selection, is Lisa Raposo. Hopefully I said your name right. If not, don't hold it against me because you just won. Lisa, thank you so much and congratulations. I've already replied to your comment. Just get with me and I will make sure that you get your free lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Lisa's question is, what categories do you suggest selling with health and beauty, and how much money do you suggest starting with? So I think I've said this before, but if I was to pick another category aside from health and beauty, it would be office supplies. Because office supplies are very, very similar in size to something like cosmetics. They're really small, they're easy to store, they're really easy to ship, and they're a consumable, which means people are always buying and using office supplies, and when they use it up, they need to buy more. And then how much money do you suggest starting with? I always say the amount of money that you start with when you're reselling is the amount of money that you're willing to light on fire. And I know that turn of phrase usually scares people, but it's true, because when you take your money and you purchase merchandise for resale, it's a gamble every time because there's no guarantees. If you're buying a liquidation order, there's no guarantee that all of your merchandise is going to be in sellable condition, unless you're buying from Wholesale Ninjas. Like I said, everything is always in sellable condition. But if you're buying from another company, usually it's a toss-up. You don't know if you're gonna have a bunch of used items that are unsellable. You don't know if you're gonna get a bunch of damaged merchandise or expired goods. So you basically are gambling with that money that you're purchasing with. Same thing if you're going to garage sales or thrift stores. If you're using money to buy merchandise for resale, there's no guarantee that that merchandise is actually going to sell online. And even if you have merchandise that you know will sell eventually, that money might as well be on fire because it's going to be tied up for an undetermined amount of time. So you never want to source merchandise with money that you're going to need back really fast, because there's no guarantee of how long it's going to take for that stuff to sell, and your capital is going to be tied up for the entire time until it actually sells. So that's why I say it's a good rule of thumb. If you want to get started, the dollar amount that you use to get started with should be a dollar amount that you're comfortable lighting on fire and never seeing again, because in this game, nothing is certain. Every time you buy something for resale, it is a gamble whether or not you're going to get your money back tomorrow, a year from now, or never again. That's why it's always good to start small and work your way up. When I first started as a reseller years ago, I literally started with $20. I did a video talking all about how I started with $20, what I would do differently if I were to start with that dollar amount today. I'll link it up here down in the pinned comment, video description, all that jazz. And then when I started building a business, 5 years ago, when I decided to do this as a full-fledged business, not just as a hobby, I started with $500 because $500 was what I could afford to lose at the time. So whatever dollar amount you decide to start with, it should be an amount that you're comfortable having tied up for a really long time, or hypothetically lighting on fire. But all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and appreciate this video series, do make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It lets me know that you like this kind of content as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to leave your question down in the comment section. Just don't forget to put your 5 question marks indicating entry into the Wholesale Ninjas Windows lot giveaway. The next episode of Frequently Asked Fridays will be posted on Friday, February the 12th, and we'll find out who our 12th winner is. Don't forget to check the video description and the top pinned comment in the comment section. I will put a whole bunch of useful information in there, as well as everything that I referenced in this video. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you with my next video. Bye-bye.